recording. Right, perfect. Last time I forgot to start the recording, which wasn't a good idea. So anyway, welcome everyone. As I said, we're recording this session. So after the session, everyone who's registered to attend this session will get a copy of the slides and also the recording, and we'll also be posting that onto our website. But you don't need to worry about having your camera off if you don't want to. You won't be being recorded. The only people who'll be recording are myself and our funders who are here today to present. So firstly, to introduce myself to people who don't know me. Let me just let people in. So my name is Rax Patel. I'm one of the VCS support officers at Community Southwark. And one of the things I do here is I host these Meet the Funders, where I'm really grateful to local funders, especially, for coming along. The format for this session is we've put it down for an hour, but they usually last about, say, 35, 40 minutes. We let the funders do their presentation first of all, and today we've got the North Southwark Environment Trust, and they're going to talk specifically about their Golden Ticket Programme, which is currently open to applications, but they're also going to cover their core grant funding programme as well. And so once they've done their presentation, we'll open it up to the floor for questions. You can either ask your question on camera or you can drop it in the chat as people are presenting if things occur to you as we go along. So either ask your question in person at the end or drop it in the chat and we'll make sure they're answered. And so I think that's all I was going to say. So I was going to introduce Kath and Karon, both from North Southwark Environment Trust, and hand over to them. So they'll do their presentation and then we'll take questions at the end. Over to you, Kath and Karon.
Thanks very much, Rax. Very daunting to be here with so many people watching. I'm Kath Whittam. I'm the chair of North Southwark Environment Trust and have been for about a year now. We have a presentation which I will start. I'm trying to click on and it's not clicking on. So here we are. Who are we? So we used to own Brighton buildings on Tower Bridge Road and rent out the shops. And the rental money is then dispersed as charitable funds. But the building started getting more and more decrepit and difficult to look after, and not being property professionals, we decided to sell it. So we sold the whole row of shops and we now have invested that money. And we've got about £1.3 million in investments and cash in order to deliver a reliable and predictable level of grant funding each year. So again, the interest from all those investments go towards giving our charities that we support some money. So our area of benefit is just inside this map. So we go down as far as the Walworth Road and we go all the way to the Lewisham border on the west side and the Lambeth border on the right hand side. If the organisation has an office that is outside the area, we don't worry too much about that as long as most of the people who are beneficiaries of the charitable funding and programme live inside the area. So that's the key thing. Most of your people who are benefiting from our money must live inside that area.
Well, I just add, Kath, that
Yeah,
we would normally ask for some sort of register. We try to keep it light touch in order to help you determine whether your beneficiaries are within our area of benefit. Obviously, the purpose of our charity is strictly within the area of benefit. So we do have to make some efforts to make sure that the money is going to people that live within the area of benefit. But we do try and make sure it's light touch, and we don't ask for huge amounts of evidence that your beneficiaries are within the area. But there will be some checking, or we would require you to provide some evidence that that was the case.
yeah, and usually the activity occurs within the area of benefit, even if the office or people who run it are slightly outside. We don't worry too much, but people who are the activity is usually happening within the area of benefit. So we have a lot of people that we fund, and we are quite keen to keep tabs on those people so that we can see their journey as they grow. And we do up to 3-year funding, so that you can apply for the first year, and then after each, if you say you're doing 3-year funding, then we require a budget for those 3 years, and we require a report at the end of each year. So if you don't put in your report, you won't get your second year's funding or your third year's funding. So we have 2 grant streams. Our usual one is our community project grant program, and that is roughly, most of it is 2.5K per year. Maybe a bit less than that if your budget doesn't require the full 2.5K.
Yeah, a lot of people will ask for 2.5K, but there'll be a few applicants that just need a bit less, 1,000, 1,500 or so.
Yep. So we look at those at the beginning of April and allocate that money. Our golden ticket grant program, which I think a lot of you are here for, is new. We have only had 1 recipient so far, and that was Surrey Docks Farm, because we knew them very well. We'd worked with them in the past, and we wanted to see how a grant of 10,000 in the first year, 5,000 in the second and third year would help that particular organisation. And I had several discussions with them beforehand, before we gave them the money, and they have since described it as a game changer. So we are extremely keen to do a similar service to another local charity. So the golden ticket, there is only 1 per year, will run as a 3-year program. So you get your first 10,000 and 5,000 and 5,000. And then, if necessary, you can go back to the beginning and try and get awarded another golden ticket. But we're keen that we can use this money to leverage other money. And that's exactly what the farm did. they used it to seed money for a volunteer manager who has since taken a lot of the burden of that off Gemma's shoulders, and she can carry on leveraging other money from other places. And she's extremely pleased that you don't have to have another sort of program or another way of, showing how you spent that money. We trust the person who's dealing with us to use that money wisely. And that's what we require of an application. We don't want to know that you're going to do yet another new initiative, because you're running your own organisations and you know what you need the money for. So we want you to tell us in about half a side of A4 what you'll use the money for. We're not having huge application forms and interviews. We want to know why this money will be a game changer for your organisation. We've already had one application, and I expect we'll get quite a few, and we will try and whittle it down to about 5 organisations to go and see and visit and talk to, and see which one aligns best with our vision for the golden ticket. So our second one, well, I'm sure, will be a lot more difficult to award than the first one, because everybody is doing such good work, and we know that. So here's the comparison of the funding streams. So the community project grant programme, roughly between 10 and 20 grants awarded each year, depending on budget, up to 2,500 per annum, generally for events and revenue programmes. Can be up to 3 years on application and receipt of a report each year. The golden ticket, only 1 per annum awarded, 3-year programme of unrestricted funding, 10,000 for the first year, 5,000 for the second and third years after a successful report. So those are our 2 funding streams. Some examples of community project grant recipients: Time and Talent, Stroke Club, Restorative Justice for All, My First 1,000 Days, Bermondsey Community Kitchen cooking classes, Bermondsey Community Fair, Rotherhithe Festival, Run the Bubble, Older Adults Theatre Company, Padley Park Annual Festival. So it's a real mix of old and young, one-off days like the Rotherhithe Festival and Padley Park, and programmes like the Stroke Club and the Older Adults Theatre Company from the Bubble. So our golden ticket. So who's going to get our second golden ticket? It is most likely to be someone who we already have funded in the past. Not totally locked off for that, but in these early days of the golden ticket, we want to be sure it's going to the right people. And, if we have a relationship with them already, then I think we'll be on safer ground, shall we say. So the golden ticket recipient is likely to have been established longer than 10 years, be in our area of benefit, be a local charity and not a national charity, i.e. it's run locally and it's not receiving funding from a national charity, has a turnover of less than £1 million, be community-based, and have an idea of how the money may help the organisation thrive to take them to the next level. So for our main grant programme, there is an application form on the NSET website. We acknowledge that for the golden ticket, there's only one grant available per annum. We don't want you to spend hours filling in forms. 500 words or half a side of A4 would tell us what you want to use the money for over the 3-year programme. And we will contact you if we require more information. So they're likely to be known to us already, but may not be. You need to convince us that this money will be a game changer for your organisation. And our email address, you can contact Karon. Karon is our clerk and keeps us honest and picks up all the mail for us. You can also email me direct, kath.whittam@gmail.com. I am a local councillor as well, so I do get quite a lot of emails, but hopefully we'll be able to answer your question quickly. And Karon is on contact@nset.org.uk, and she can farm the questions out to different members of our board. We have, how many is it, Karon? About 7.
Yeah, 7 or 8. Yes, 8, 7. It is 7.
7 trustees. So
yeah,
we're all keen to get the right person, organisation for our golden ticket, and somebody will contact you to let you know your application has gone through to the shortlist or not. And that's it.
That's brilliant, Kath. Thanks very much. That sounds really... So several people joined during the call, which is absolutely fine. So just to say that we're recording this session, so we'll be sending the slides round and also the recording probably tomorrow. But we'll also be posting it on our website. The golden ticket, the deadline is the 31st of March, so you've got a bit of time. So I am going to take questions from the floor, but there's some that have come in on the chat, most of which are quite quick fire. So I'm going to run through those first. So the first one is, would you ask for evidence of where beneficiaries live to be supplied with the application? You covered a bit of this, I think, in your presentation, but it's just what do you need to show that, you know, beneficiaries are living in your area, basically? What kind of evidence?
Take that, Karon?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So I don't think we would ask for evidence of beneficiaries living in the area of benefit with the application. I think what we would expect is for you to have worked out a way of ensuring within the project that that the majority are living within the area of benefit. So, for example, if you say we will be running the project from this particular community hall, and we will be advertising it to schools within Southwark. Something like that would be, I think, sufficient for us to consider the application.
Perfect. And these are very quick fire. So do you fund CICs, community interest companies, or do you have to be charities?
No, CICs are fine.
CFCs. That'll make lots of people very happy. Can you apply for both, as in the community grants and the golden ticket?
Yes.
Yep. That will also make
Yeah.
very people. And then there's.
I'm sorry, I would only add to that.
Yeah.
I think that ideally you wouldn't link the two, so you wouldn't make one application for both. So yeah, you wouldn't devise a program for both, simply because the golden ticket is going to be so oversubscribed. If you link the two programs, you may not get anything. Whereas if you do two applications, then I think you might stand a better chance.
That makes sense. And then the other questions I think are all around this kind of having been established. So let me just get to them. So the first one is, we were established in 2014, but only became a charity in 2019. Can we apply? So that, I think, is a yes, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not about being a registered charity.
Yeah.
But another one is, we're only 8 years in operation. Can we apply? I think that's a no, isn't it? Or what do you say?
I mean, my thoughts are, I'm not a trustee, so Kath will jump in here. Is that we do have flexibility around some of the requirements. I think the requirements are more about the likely. What do you say?
More guidelines.
It is, yes, exactly. So I think 8 years in operation would be fine. And, you know, other things will come into play in applications, you know, such as embeddedness in the community. And that's likely to be more important.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. This is one that a lot of people will be asking, is they're not known to you and haven't received funding before. So this is about the golden ticket, but can they still apply?
They're perfectly entitled to put in half side of A4, 500 words.
Yeah.
But I have to say, it's unlikely that we would fund somebody with the golden ticket that we have no track record with at all.
Yeah.
Community grants one is fine to apply for as well. Is it? You're not disadvantaged on that one if you not known to you. Yeah.
No.
You've got to get your foot through the door.
Yeah, it might.
You've got to start somewhere.
Yeah, a good way of building up a relationship with this could well be through the community grants program, and that's another aspect, I think, to these certainly to this Meet the Funder call, is that we are reaching out to groups that we haven't necessarily spoken to before, have that relationship with. So, you know, we would encourage people to apply for the community projects grants in order to start building those relationships.
The next one is, sorry if I said this before, we support people from across Southwark and Lambeth. Is that an issue? I think the answer is no, but in terms of the funding to get from you want your funding to go to the area of benefit. Is that right?
Absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely.
We've not received funding from you before. Does it disqualify us? No, so you've answered that. It's more about building a relationship. And maybe if you don't have that relationship, start with the community grants, try and get that. And then the golden ticket will be available, hopefully, in future years, won't it?
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm almost there. There's all these new questions coming. We aren't known to you and have a turnover of 2 million for the most recent financial year. We have a number of projects that would benefit from the golden ticket, but is it worth us applying still? So they're where they don't fit the criteria is the 2 million, I guess.
Yeah.
I think if you've got a turnover of 2 million, 10,000 is not going to cut it, really.
I think, an organisation like that would not be top of our list to fund, and I suspect there would be other people that better fit our criteria.
Yep. And I'll open it to question, but just to reiterate, so we're sharing the video, the recording of this webinar meeting. We'll also share the slides, and when you get that, for everyone registered for this call, I'll also give the link to apply for both the funding stream. So both the community grants and the golden ticket program. So I'll give you the link of how to apply. And then on the slide pack, as you saw, it also had Kath's email and a phone number and the contact for North Southwark Environment Trust if you had any follow-up questions or wanted to check in when you start doing your application for the community grants. So I was now going to, I think I've done that. I've now asked all the questions in the chat. So does anyone else want to ask any questions? Or if I have inadvertently missed anything in the chat, do let me know. Yeah, that's been really useful. And I'll actually promote that. I don't think I've promoted the community grants in the most recent funding bulletin that I sent out last week does talk about the golden ticket and links through, but I don't think I've talked about the community grant. So I'll definitely do that in February and March.
Somebody said they still need their question answered.
Still about how to apply. Who was that? How to apply. Yeah, Kieran, I said you can come off mute if I haven't answered it, but what I said was I'll send the link round to, because it's on your website, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a link on our website to the community grants program. And obviously the golden ticket is a sort of free form
email thing.
Yeah, email, half a side, 500 words, I think Kath mentioned, just telling us about what your plans would be for the money and how it would make a difference.
I have a question.
And that's all on the website as well. Oh yeah, sorry, go ahead, Julian. Yeah, and then.
Am I correct to say that the main difference between the golden ticket and the community grants is the golden ticket is a continuing grant, and it's
there are a couple of differences. The golden ticket, yes, is a 3-year grant, 10,000 first year, 5,000 second year, 5,000 third year, and it's unrestricted. So although you send us an application that gives us information about how you think you might use the funds and what a difference the funds might make, the funding itself is unrestricted.
What does that mean?
You can use it for any purpose. It's up to the trustees to determine the purpose for the funding, rather than for you to, rather than strictly for one purpose that's agreed up front. The community programme is up to £2,500, so it's much smaller. It is usually just for a 1-year funding, but it can be for 3 years if you if you're able to produce an application that sets out the reasons why it should be a 3-year funded programme. And that would normally be restricted for the purpose that you have applied for.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that.
That's right.
A couple more things have now come in. So this is back to the 2 million. What they were saying was it makes a huge difference because one of their projects would continue rather than ceasing. So it's for a specific local project with a 20k a year budget. Is that more appealing? Hello. Maybe apply and see. I think it also depends on, as with all these things like grant applications, job applications, it kind of depends who else is applying. So sometimes it's a bit hard to answer those questions because it might be that there aren't that many great local applications and then you might get looking. That's the problem. Kieran was saying the link on the website doesn't open to an email for me, hence why I asked for an email address so you can apply. So I think that's the email on your slide, isn't it? On that last slide, the contact at NSET. Is that where you want the golden ticket applications to go through to?
That will go through to Karon.
Yeah. Is that where you want them to Yeah. So it's on the last slide of the presentation, isn't it? That contact at NSET thing, which is where you put your submit your golden ticket application. Is that right, Karon?
I think she's frozen.
Oh, she's frozen.
But
But I'll
the
definitely send out that contact detail, the email contact detail with the.
link on the website should work. So we'll check that.
Oh, okay. It's always worth knowing, yeah. I think, well, I haven't got a bit, I won't try and do something.
Oh.
I was going to see if it's actually on the website. But anyway, everyone will get that email. Karen's back now. Karon, is the email to apply for the golden ticket application? It's the contact at NSET email address, isn't it? So I'll send that round to people, and it's also on the last slide of the presentation.
You're on mute, Karon. Karon, you're on mute.
Thank you. I'm just looking at the NSET website. So there's a grant application form on there. When you click it, it downloads as a Word document, which you can then email to us. So that's how the community grant application form works. The golden ticket, just put your ideas on either a Word document or in an email to us, and email it again to that contact at NSET email address.
Perfect. Brilliant. So, so any last question? Oh, yeah, so Kieran's happy with that now. So any last questions before I end the session? So just to recap, everyone who's registered, you will get the link to the recording, you'll get the slides as well. It'll also be on our website, and I'll promote it through our funding bulletin, which we send out monthly. So if you're not subscribed to our funding bulletin, do subscribe, because it lists all the grant funds that are open at the moment. So one last chance for any last question.
Can I come?
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
First of all, I do apologize for joining in late. I was using a new laptop and then I had to install.
Oh, don't worry. Yeah, it happens to all.
And I'm not the fastest. It took me ages to eventually join in.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you very much for arranging that, Rex, and also thank you for Kath and her colleague for giving the background information. I just wanted to ask something. We have there's a demand. By the way, I am from Awista Charitable Organization, also a member of Community Southwark, and we have been planning to. This is because of the demand, specifically for the diaspora women who have not got any or very little command of English, and they don't have the confidence to go out to work, and they like that something skill based. So we found a teacher for them to teach them sewing in their own languages, mixed, of course, with English, and use an opportunity for them to build up with those skills and also new skill. Unfortunately, I've not been able, any funders, to specifically fund a project like a sewing project, which for them will probably take up to 6 months. Is it something that will be supported? If anyone has asked this before, do apologize. Forgive me because I was not at the beginning of the call, but this is something I really would need to know as to whether we would be able to get this funding for a project like that.
I cannot.
If you're in our area of benefit.
Yeah.
Sorry,
and also, yeah. So Kath was saying is if it's in their area of benefit, so the Southwark. But what I would say is that's why it's good to subscribe to the funding bulletin. So there's Sport England do a movement fund. There's also Boost sports grants. These are available. They're listed on our website and in our funding database. And so because basically they're trying to encourage people to do physical activity. So it's not about being an elite sports person or being an Olympic stand. They're just trying to get normal everyday people who often have barriers, which, like you've talked about, to do physical activity and movement and get out and about. So there are a number of kind of movements and sports grants that are available, and they're not targeted at professional footballers and Olympic athletes. They're for normal people to do activity, some kind of physical activity, in the hope that it helps with both their physical and their mental well-being.
Perfect. Thank you.
So do have there's one other question, which other people might want to know as well. So the community grant, can you apply for that over 3 years? So 3 lots of $2.5 grand. But I think probably you have to apply every year for 2.5. Is that right? Or can you?
You can apply for a 3-year grant.
Oh, right.
Yes,
That's
for
really
2.5
impressive.
every year. So
Yeah.
3
Okay.
times 250.
So you can do that. Yeah.
2,500. You can, yeah.
All right. So that the answer to that is
Kind
yes.
of, can I say something?
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, I arrived late at the meeting because
No,
I
no,
was
no.
having some technical issues,
Yeah, yeah.
and as a consequence of that,
Mm.
I couldn't mute my image. So if you're sending this round, could my image be blurred,
Oh,
please?
yeah, no. So what I was saying was it's only the speakers who will be recorded. So mainly me, Kath, and Karon. So it won't be recorded, basically. So just so you know. Right. Okay. Brilliant. So thanks everyone for coming. Especially thanks to Kath and Karon for giving up your time today to answer all our questions and do the presentation. We're really grateful for local funders who come and do this for us. So thank you so much. Cool.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Brilliant. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.